Well, look, it's you back here again to hear more from me, the Swiftologist. And today I'm going to be talking to you about the 2026 Grammys. A lot of people have been saying that this wasn't a good year for music, or, at the end of last year, everyone was like, how can it possibly get better? We've had a lot of music come out this year. Is all of it great and Grammy worthy? Well, no. I actually think that this year there was quite a lot of mid music that was released, but there was a lot of good music that was released too. So I am excited to get into it. So the way that we're going to talk about this today is if it was my Grammys and I was doing the nominations and I was picking a winner, I'm going to tell you who would be winning the Swiftologist Grammys, okay? Not to be confused with the Snammys, which is the evolution of a snake Grammy Awards, which you can go and vote for on the Patreon right now. And we will do live streamed on this YouTube channel at some point in the future, probably in December. I think I definitely tried to stick within the eligibility window. You will see some off the wall picks in my personal categories because they're my personal categories. You don't have to agree, that's totally fine. And then I will go through the Billboard predictions and maybe just I haven't seen them yet. So I'll go through and react, give you my thoughts and feelings on what is there. We can read their reasonings, their industry informed, focus on it, see what they think, and see if we agree with what they have to say. But yes, so this is all just a little bit of fun. We don't need to get crazy about Grammy nominations. They're going to happen one way or another. Everybody's going to be unhappy one way or another. And that's how it is. I feel like there's never really any huge surprises. It's always kind of clear who's going to take the top categories, which is why I wanted to do who I think should win the Grammys rather than who I think is going to, because everybody is pretty much more or less aligned on what those big categories are going to be. Also, it should be noted, I have a very narrow focus on music. If you follow this channel, you know what kind of music I listen to, girly pop. Pretty much exclusively girly pop. So the categories that I have decided to participate in nominating are Song of the Year, Record of the Year, Album of the Year, Best New Artist, Pop Vocal Album, Pop Solo Performance, Dance Pop, and Best New Artist, and Music Video. I am not going to sit here and preach to you about genres of which I have no real knowledge. You don't need to hear what I have to think about country or hip hop or rock or alternative because frankly, head empty for most of that. One or two songs, one or two artists or projects here or there, but not enough to give you a fully formed thought. So I'm trying to give you fully formed thoughts. If you're new here, my name is Zach. I make thoughtful weekly videos about pop culture. I love pop music, and I think that everybody should know that my Grammy Awards are going to be the Men Cannot Win categories and recipients. Okay, men aren't invited to my Grammys. So if you love that concept, actually, there's two men that are invited to my Grammys this year, two men. So I think that's a huge step forward for me in respecting male artists. And if you like that, you should subscribe to this channel because it's fab. Should we start with Song of the Year and Record of the Year, or should I start with Album of the Year? I don't know. I think I should probably start with Album of the Year just to give everyone a lay of the land. We can see what we're dealing with here, who we're up against, what I liked. And when I categorize Album of the Year, in my head at least, it's something that left an impression on me, that's going to leave an impression on the music industry beyond just the year that it came out. It has to be an effort from the artist, especially if they're an artist that has been nominated in this category before, an equally strong showing that they've had in the past. And it also has to be sufficiently, in my opinion, a little bit different from what's been nominated in the past. So it's kind of a higher bar to clear, I think, if you're not a first-time artist with one album to consider to get in my Album of the Year nominations. But also, I like to think that the Album of the Year is a combination of material, moment, and artist. So the material, is the songwriting and the production work on this record super interesting? Is it doing something different? Is it unlike any of the other records that came out this year? If not, what makes it special? The artist has to have shown some sort of creative evolution. I want to see a development of the craft and the skill. And then the moment, of course, Album of the Year needs to be something that captured the zeitgeist. Now, this is becoming an increasingly difficult to quantify category as the music industry becomes more fragmented and social media and niche artists and all of that become more popular. You might see a couple of things in my Album of the Year and be like, I'm not sure if that counts as a moment, but it was a moment to me. And these are my Grammy nominations. Album of the Year, Sabrina Carpenter, Man's Best Friend. Yes, the hell I did. Over half of that album is really good to me, which for a pop record, I think is pretty outstanding. Maybe that's a lower bar to clear, but to me, this is the biggest girly pop moment of the year. So I can't not put it in Album of the Year. And also, I really enjoyed it. And I think that it is an evolution of Sabrina's craft. I think the material is interesting. There is stuff on this that she didn't really explore with short and sweet songs like When Did You Get Hot? House Tour is definitely an evolution of something she's already like built on before. You're going to be hearing a lot about House Tour today. Yes, you are. Okay. So Man's Best Friend was kind of an automatic shoo-in to me. Also, it was such a moment. From the moment that the cover came out, oh, the girls were talking about Sabrina Carpenter's brand new album. Also, a lot of work with Jack Antonoff on this record, who is, I would say, a producer that is maybe losing a little bit of steam, which is an interesting thought that I will expand on at a later date, but he is still very much present here and also in the general zeitgeist. Up next, Lady Gaga, Mayhem, girly pop. I have to give the girly pop moments credit where credit is due. I thought the Mayhem rollout got off to a bit of a shaky start with Disease, but with Gaga, a lot of the time, the like initial sputterings of an album aren't exactly what end up being the most resonating thing about it. And that is definitely the case. It really clicked for me when Abracadabra was released. It's such a spooky and classic Lady Gaga effort. I think one of the main critiques that this album got was that it was reheating her own nachos. And to that, I say, you're allowed to reheat your own nachos. If you're doing your work, but like an interesting updated version of it, I'm interested. And the thing that Mayhem has that I think her other records don't have when it comes to that like spooky ooky territory, I think there's a clarity of vision in the songwriting and also the album itself, Mayhem. I think that the conceit of it, that it's chaotic, makes sense with the topics that are covered. I think there's a very good balance of fun Lady Gaga dance floor fare and also introspective, interesting kind of pop that only Lady Gaga can do. For example, Perfect Celebrity, interesting commentary. So thank you, Lady Gaga. I thought it was a very diverse, interesting, and brave album. And I also loved seeing the show this year. So that is why it's here. Next, I have Addison Rae's debut album. Addison, yeah. People really love to hate on Addison's album. And I really don't understand why, because to me, it's one of the most like clearly formed visions of the year when it comes to an album and a project. It is so uniquely and distinctly Addison Rae that I don't understand people that question her vision or her intention. I feel like it's super clear. It's referential. Yes, it dips into like Britney and like Y2K aesthetic, but also there's something very contemporary about it. A song like Headphones On, that was made for the TikTok generation. And yet the visuals are giving futuristic, but also nostalgia core. Addison Rae is a visionary to me, and I think that she's an artist that conceptualizes in so many different ways. Yes, she may not be the strongest like singer in the world, but I think that her songwriting is like deceptively clever, and I also think that her visual world building is crazy, and I think that her development of her skill between her EP and this is insane. Like that attention to detail, that integrity of artistry is really impressive to me. And I think that her entire rebrand is something that really should be celebrated and not used as like a tool against her. Like, oh, you used to be a TikTok star, so we'll never take you seriously as an artist. I think that because she was a TikTok star, I take her even more seriously as an artist because the jump from being TikTok star to well-respected, iconic pop artist is a really big one to make. Many have tried, most have failed. So I think this is a really accomplished effort. Speaking of accomplished efforts, this one was a little bit controversial in my community, in my head. I was like, should this be here? Should it not? At the end of the day, I really enjoyed it, and she doesn't release albums very often, and I do believe that this was a huge improvement over the slop of Solar Power. Yes, we are talking about Lord's Virgin. I really enjoyed this album, and it has stuck with me throughout the year. It's an easy listen. It is Lorde, I think, adapting her songwriting for a new generation, a new moment, and I think that it is melodrama, but a little bit more alternative production-wise. That seems to be the vibe that it was going for. It's very industrial. There's kind of a mechanical sound to it, and Lorde is, I would say, broodier than ever. She's really letting her freak flag fly on this record, sometimes to its own detriment, but you know, I'm gonna award something polarizing over something boring. Okay, that's why Tate McRae's so close to what Renee Rapp's Bite Me. They are not contenders for album of the year. They didn't take any risks. They didn't take any chances. Lorde took chances. Current Affairs exists. Yeah, she took a chance. Hayley Williams, Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party. I mean, how could I not let this get in here? This is one of the best written albums of the year. I also think that it is such a coherent and genuine project. Hayley Williams, I think, made this album because it poured out of her and also released it in such a strange way that I don't think that you could ever categorize this as something that was really trying desperately to have a moment. I think that she didn't even realize how well people were going to respond to it until it came out. I mean, it was basically released through a website. not even onto streaming. You had to scrounge around for it for a while. It didn't even have a name. And I really like the idea of her just putting out all this music and then letting the fans chime in on how they wanted the track list to be sequenced and what they thought the name of the album should be. I thought that it should be called Glum. That was kind of my working title for it, but Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party is, of course, an iconic title for an album. And this is so worthy and deserving of the accolades. I think it's also very rare to see the front woman of a group break out solo at this point in her career and create something so interesting. Because I think that her prior solo projects were all right, but not nearly as compelling or as focused and as natural as Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party sounds. It's a record of our time. It's doomy, it's gloomy. There's something foreboding about it, and there's something very spooky. A lot of these albums are spooky. It's been a spooky year. Mayhem and Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party. Spooky. Speaking of spooky, should we talk about clowns? Audrey Hobart, Who's the Clown? This is one of those albums that like truly came out of nowhere and took me by surprise. I did not know who Audrey Hobart was at the beginning of this year other than as a co-writer to Gracie Abrams. And as soon as I heard Sue Me, I'm so glad I have my reaction to it on the Patreon. As soon as I heard Sue Me, I was locked in. I was like, yes. And I remember someone was like, please react to Audrey Hobart, Sue Me. And I was like, who is that? Gracie Abrams' best friend? I don't need to be hearing this. This is none of my business. Then I saw the music video and I was like, this freak has lost her damn mind, and I will forever be clapping and cheering for it. It is so awesome and cool to be weird and different and freaky and unafraid of like looking weird and freaky and different. It's so pop girldom is very homogenous, and there's a certain way to go about doing things. And Audrey Hobart just kind of doesn't do that. And I think that that is her calling card. I also think that her kind of like word vomity style of writing was so encapsulated by That's So True, which to me is much more of an Audrey Hobart song than it is a Gracie Abrams song. That kind of way of writing, that style of writing has really captured the zeitgeist. And I think that it is elaborated on so beautifully on Who's the Clown. And I think that it's a really strong statement. Like it's a really clear project. It came out so quickly and it came out with such force, and it felt like the rollout was like so well planned. Industry plant allegations high, but I see why. As in, I see why you would plant her as a person in the industry, because you can't do an industry plant with someone that has no talent and someone that has no vision with a bad project. You can try, but just because you plant someone doesn't mean they're going to take off, especially in the age of social media where crowd participation is more important than ever. People actually have to be genuinely interested for something to have a real moment. You cannot payola your way into moments anymore. Many people have tried and they have learned. So, Audrey Hobart, thank you. Now, my final two nominees. Another girl, another girl. We have CMAT with Euro Country. This album really took me by surprise. I had been peripherally aware of CMAT, but not hugely plugged into her projects. I've gone back now and listened to her albums, but I just think that in terms of quality and clarity of intention and statement from start to finish of a project, this was so amazing to me. I also love to have a foreign album in album of the year, meaning something that like kind of captures another place, the vibe of another place. And I think when you are writing about a place that is very dear to you and you're trying to write and comment on your culture, this is something that Lily Allen does very well, something that Bad Bunny does very well. I think that CMAT's entry into the canon of like albums about Ireland is so singular and unique. And, you know, we haven't had a really iconic Irish voice represented in like American music, or at least successful in American music, since I would say maybe Sinead O'Connor, like a strong female songwriter. And Euro Country has so many interesting moments. And I also think that it's uncompromising in its vision of being Irish and being about being Irish and sounding Irish. It doesn't dumb itself down for an international audience. And I think that that's why it has been received so well overseas. And I just think that it is a true masterpiece of writing, of production, of performance. CMAT is literally the Euro Country Chapel Roan. She is Irish Chapel Roan. Up next, and last but not least, this may surprise you. And it surprised me because I don't actually listen to this album very often. There are probably other albums on my short list that I listen to more. Justin Bieber, Swag. I thought that this was a really clear, decisive project. I was surprised. I did not think that Justin Bieber had this left in him. Swag 2 is a disaster, a soppy, wife guy train wreck. But Swag, the original, it is over bloated. It is very ambitious, but what's on it is actually pretty clear. And I think that it reunites Justin with something that he has always been good at, which has been being cool. I feel like his last couple of projects felt very pop oriented in a way that doesn't feel authentic to who he is anymore. And this one feels like it met him where he was at. And there was a sense of humor in it. He's standing on business. It's not clocking to you that he is, which is why you don't have it in your album of the year, but I do. And it's nominated. It's not winning. It's not winning at the Switchologist Grammys. Let's be clear. What is winning? I think it's Addison. Yeah, I think Addison wins. And people hate me when I say that, but I refuse to stop saying it. I refuse to stop saying it. Okay, let's talk about pop vocal album. So this is where I kind of let the things that were almost good enough, but didn't quite maybe capture a moment or didn't quite like capture the zeitgeist in a way that I thought was like super, super impactful. I kind of let them go here, or just like smaller albums that definitely deserve recognition, but maybe didn't have their time to shine. I have Flow, Access, All Areas. We don't have any girl groups right now. Little Mix is gone. Fifth Harmony was never really anything to begin with. This Flow album is so good. It's such a tight and concise project. The vocals, the production work all over this project is so good. And I think that Flow is like a vastly underrated group. And just this album in general was so Y2K, but also very of its time. The music videos have been great. The girls have the most incredible voices. The way they sound together, that blend. Oh, it is not since Destiny's Child have we had a girl group with vocal agility like this. And I think that they are greatly, greatly underrated. So for pop vocal album and all the kind of pop subcategories, you get 5 nominations. So after them, I have Halsey with The Great Impersonator. Yeah, I'm saying it. I would have put Lonely as Muse up for Song of the Year, but it didn't meet the cutoff point, which is unfortunate. But The Great Impersonator was a big risk, and it's something that Halsey has paid for. Her label has said that they are not going to let her make another album as of right now. And I think that this is what happens when you put your life on the line, when you imagine that you have no more time left in your life to create and you have to execute every idea you've ever had at once. This is what happens. And I just think that it was such a brave and audacious swing that cost her something. I want to reward her for that because I also do think that there are such brilliant moments here. Lonely is the Muse. That is a career highlight. Only Living Girl in LA. Yeah. I'm saying it. Panic Attack. There are incredible moments of genius on The Great Impersonator and Halsey forever. Halsey till I die. Tate McRae, So Close to What? It's not good enough to be in Album of the Year. Let's really be serious with ourselves for a moment. Tate McRae has not yet had enough time to sustain a project from start to finish that feels so distinctly Tate McRae. There are flashes of genius. There are flashes of something that's very distinctly her and Ryan Tedder sound, something like Sports Car, or more recently, something like Tit for Tat. There were maybe like 3 or 4 really good songs, and everything else was the algorithmic filler that she's been doing up until this point in her career thus far. So it doesn't make Album of the Year, but it does make Pop Vocal Album because it was a moment for sure. And you know what? It has grown on me because the Miss Possessive tour is really cool. And Tate McRae is an incredible performer. And I think Pop Vocal Album really is about performance, not necessarily about singing. It's about like the delivery, a bunch of different things. But I think that she definitely qualifies here. I also have the Kali Uchis record, Sincerely, here. I love this. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous album. It's not something that I have like specific tracks from that I really love, but it is an album that I play start to finish. And I listen to it when I'm reading. I listen to it when I'm like walking around town. It's a really good lock-in album. Leve also does a similar thing for me. I don't have Leve in any nominations because I just haven't had the time to listen to her album yet. It's just one of those ones that has not been able to get off my desk as of yet. I am going to listen to it before the end of the year. I will. I just haven't had the chance to do that yet. So that's why it's not there. And then I have Miley Cyrus, Something Beautiful. Listen, I don't think that Miley Cyrus herself was that invested in making this project be successful. She gave it kind of half of her attention, which I think is what she does to all of her music projects as of late. I'm not sure why. I'm kind of like, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. But there are definitely really interesting developments of her artistry here. I love to reward and celebrate an album that is about live, natural sounding instruments, and her vocals on this are crazy. And it was, again, kind of like Halsey. It was a risk that I think didn't really pay off commercially, but I think creatively, in hindsight, we're going to look back at this Miley Cyrus record and say, damn, that was artistic. Like there was something really focused about it. It felt like a real project. So I'm excited about that. And those are my nominations for Pop Vocal Album. Let's get into Song of the Year and Record of the Year. So the difference is Song of the Year is really talking about the writing, the songwriting, the narrative, the way that the melody sounds, and Record of the Year is about the overall performance. So you're talking about the production, the vocal delivery. It's not just about the writing. And I think actually when I was going through this, you'll see how I split these things up. So first of all, Ariana Grande, Twilight Zone. Yeah, that song moved me in a way that not many pop songs this year have. It is just one of those songs that is about regret and distance and a very gentle bitterness that I think makes the whole Eternal Sunshine project work so effectively. And the Eternal Sunshine Deluxe Edition was such an interesting entrance into the Ariana Grande catalog because I truly don't feel like it was one of those albums that was just like a couple extra songs tacked out. No offense, Camila Cabello, but Camila Cabello, CXOXO, and Magic City. It doesn't feel like a bunch of outtakes or B-sides, and that's because they aren't outtakes and B-sides. Ariana Grande went back to Sweden, back to Max Martin, and said, we need to come up with some new songs because I'm not done writing. And I think that you can really tell that they're all building off of what already existed on Eternal Sunshine, which was one of my favorite albums of the year last year. So Twilight Zone, you're the diva. You're the moment. I love you. I listen to it at least 3 times a week. Audrey Hobart, Sue Me. Yeah. I love this song. It's insane. It went viral on TikTok. The bridge is crazy. The music video is so good. And I think that Audrey Hobart is a genius and she's one to watch. Really, she's one to watch. And I think, to me, this is one of my favorite songs of the year. I play it all the time. I love it. I think it's so weird and funny. And the specific, I'll see you in a Best Buy, you know that I think you're the best guy. It's like word vomit in a really compelling way, in a way that is still clever and not, I'm giving everything that's at the top of my head. I also have CMAT Euro Country, the title track from her album that is also nominated for my album of the year. This one is like just a really beautiful, complex sociocultural commentary on what it's like to grow up in Ireland and to live in Ireland as an adolescent post the boom and then post the economic crash. It is something that I deeply resonated with. As you guys know, I'm Irish, but I live in Singapore, but I spent all my summers in Ireland. I would spend like 8 weeks out of the year in Ireland. The way that she describes what it feels like to be a teenager, like wasting time and feeling like you're kind of stuck in Ireland, and the way she depicts that in the music video going through a mall, I really can't describe it to you unless you like have had this experience. So maybe I'm being biased, but she also sings very beautifully in Irish at the beginning of the song. And again, this is what it looks like to have a vision of your culture that you want to translate to the world that you don't compromise on. We should celebrate that. Speaking of things we should celebrate, That's So True. I think That's So True really should win Song of the Year in my Grammys and at the actual Grammys. It was just such an organic hit, a bonus track that took off. It has been the TikTok sound du jour. It was lifted up by the Eras Tour and moved well past and beyond it. I think that this is Gracie Abrams' signature song by far and away, and I think it's going to be an interesting challenge to see if she can replicate its success or can do something like it, because to me, That's So True sounds so Audrey Hobart. It doesn't sound so Gracie Abrams now that I know what Audrey Hobart sounds like on her own. I'd be curious to see, like, for her next project, is Audrey going to be roped back in as a co-writer? I think that she's essential to the Gracie Abrams project right now at this moment. It would be a mistake not to have her back on. But Audrey's also doing her own thing. So I don't know if she would want to be giving up the good songs to someone else. But I know that they are really close. They have a good relationship. They're good friends. I'm sure that working relationship is not done. So That's So True. We love you. My also song of the year I have put here is Manchild. I think that Manchild is clever and fun, and it's just a simple, great pop song. There's really not that much to say about it other than it's a hit, and I liked it. Doechii, Denial is a River. Doechii is able to capture the zeitgeist in a way that no other artist has this year, because she is such an expert at blending like internet culture with her specific POV, her like emotional connection to her song, but also her artistry. She, as an MC, oh my God, she is spitting. She is spitting. Her flow is so good, and she is what Azalea Banks could have been had Azalea Banks not completely tarnished her entire career. They both have this like biting tongue and this sharpness for detail and lyricism and this connection to internet subculture that I think is really interesting. And so this would be kind of like a number 2 to me, a very, very interesting. I have anxiety in another category, so that's not here right now, but Denial is a River to me is the better written number from Doechii. Hayley Williams, True Believer. Now, I also wanted to put Parachute by Hayley Williams here, but I'm putting True Believer instead because I do think that like that is the anthem of our time. This is an American girl from the South reflecting on the legacy of the place where she grew up, realizing how messed up it is, realizing that it is haunted with ghosts and that those ghosts are never going to go away until some serious wrongs are made right, and there are not enough people trying to make those wrongs right. This is a very hopeless song, but I also think it's a very true reflection of where a lot of people are feeling now, specifically in the United States. So for that reason, it's kind of an emissary of the year, and I think that it's an incredible piece of songwriting. And also for Song of the Year, I think I put this in for Record of the Year too, because I really just think that it's that good. Olivia Dean, Man I Need. This to me is like a Grammys bait song. No, like this is the kind of song that always wins Song of the Year or Record of the Year. It's one of those songs where I hear it and I want to get up on my feet and smile and start dancing. That doesn't happen for a lot of songs. That happens for a specific kind of like monocultural, wide mass appeal hit. This is one of those songs I don't think I'm ever gonna get tired of hearing. And I'm not like an especially romantic person. It's the way the song is written and delivered, and the buoyancy, the joy in it is so infectious, and it's a levity that we need, especially compared to like the true believers of the year. You know, we needed to have some fun. We needed to have a good time. It's just so good. It's really good. It's also timeless. The Grammys really loves that kind of like vaguely nostalgic songs. That's why they love Adele so much. Olivia Dean is definitely of the Amy Winehouse, Adele lineage. My record of the year, first of all, now this, remember, is about the production, the performance, the overall effect of a song. Illegal, Pink Pantheress. Pink Pantheress is another internet native who I think was kind of on the cusp of being like a one moment wonder and really successfully managed to capture the zeitgeist again. And something that I really respect about Pink Pantheress that I've seen from multiple interviews with her is that she thinks very carefully about how she translates her act into real life, because it would be so easy for Pink Pantheress to kind of follow the Ice Spice route and be someone that is just better online and not great in person, like not the best performer, not very charismatic, not very interesting. And the way that she sings is so soft and so deliberate that it doesn't necessarily translate to like IRL live performance. But I saw a couple of clips of her new tour, and she's talked about how she's really drilled down on focusing on how to make it real, like how to make her thing translate in a live setting. And I respect the hustle. I also think that Illegal is really fun. It was a TikTok trend. It was good. Pink Pantheress is a lot cleverer than people believe, and I would like to reward her with Record of the Year. Also, Doja Cat, Jealous Type. It didn't make as much noise as it was supposed to make, but it is one of those songs that I think is just going to get nominated for Record of the Year. Although I don't know. Doja's been moving weird, and it seems like the industry didn't receive this very well, and her fans certainly didn't receive it the way they have with projects in the past. Perhaps that is because she pisses them off every 5 minutes. Hard to keep a fan base when you're yelling at them all the time. But I think that Jealous Type is genuinely a great song. The first time I heard it, I was like, whatever, but it has burrowed into my brain as all great hits do. Thank you, Jack Antonoff. Up next, Adela. Machine Girl. Oh, hell yeah. Why? You might ask, well, Sex on the Beat also was a consideration to me because the production on that is super interesting, but Adela roped Grimes in to do Machine Girl, and I think that it is the perfect bridge between the really weird stuff on Sex on the Beat and the really, really pop stuff on Superstar. Machine Girl lands somewhere in between, and it is just such a clever commentary on what it's like to be a young woman in the music industry, put through the lens of an artist who is a real visionary and is truly building something that is going to last for a long time. I'm so excited to see where Adela will go, and she's definitely not, probably not going to get nominated for anything, which is a shame because I think that she really deserves it, and I cannot wait to see what her album has in store for us. That is like my top artist to watch of 2026. She was my top artist to watch of 2025. I was saying it at the end of 2024. I was saying it at the beginning of 2025. And finally, we are seeing the harvest come to be. And I couldn't be happier for her. She deserves the world. Sabrina Carpenter, House Tour. Yeah, I didn't put Manchild in here because the production on House Tour is so good. It's Jack Antonoff, but like mixed with Sabrina Carpenter in a way that I haven't heard either of them do before. And the production of this really complements the song itself. Like you can hear the ignition, the revving of the car. You can hear her kind of like running through the house. It is such a well executed, funny, fun song. And those songs are way harder to achieve than people give them credit for. So I wanted to make sure that I was giving House Tour her flowers. I do think that this could have been a great lead single for her. So don't know why it wasn't considered. Lord, what was that? This song made me cry when I heard it the first time. This song it makes me feel something in the way that only a Lord song can. MDMA in the back garden, blow our peoples up. Anything else? Any comments to add? A lot of people said that it was kind of like a botched version of Melodrama. People really responded kind of weirdly to the production choices on What Was That? But this is a classic Lorde to me. It doesn't feel like a B tier Lorde song. This feels like an A tier Lorde song. And I loved hearing it. It moved me. It changed something for me. Lady Gaga, Abracadabra. I was gonna put Perfect Celebrity into Song of the Year, but there were just stronger songwriting contenders. Abracadabra is incredible. That should win Record of the Year at the actual Grammys. I'm ready for it to be received as such. And I feel like this was the first really big monocultural pop moment of this year. Like people were really united in Abracadabra, and I think that it had such a moment. And because she released it so early in the year, there wasn't a lot of like clutter or collateral around her, so she really got to have her Gaga time, and I loved to hear it. Jade, Plastic Box. Plastic Box is produced so elegantly. And the production on Jade's debut album, That's Joba's Baby, is so incredible and is a very underrated part of what she has accomplished. It's not eligible for this particular like eligibility window that I am following for the Grammys. Otherwise, you know it would have been in Album of the Year. But Plastic Box, I think, is one of the most interesting concepts on the record. It's about wishing that the person you were in love with had never been in love before, so they were all yours. I haven't heard that sentiment expressed in a pop song before, other than please don't be in love with somebody else. Please don't have some waiting on you, Taylor Swift, which is, as we know, the greatest song ever made. So Plastic Box, thank you. Tate McRae, Sports Car. Everything about this song is perfectly executed, and it's the production that really sends it into another stratosphere. It's the Yin Yang Twins, it's the whispering, Ryan Tedder, you did it again. Tate McRae, you beguiling diva, you, amazing. Gorgeous. Thank you so much to all of our nominees for Record and Song of the Year. Now, moving into some of the other ancillary pop categories. Pop Solo Performance. Here's where the other man that gets nominated comes in. Role Model. Sally When the Wine Runs Out. You may know that Madeline from Lizard Review and my co-host of Evolution of Snake hates Role Model, but I'm not letting her propaganda sway me. He's hot, and he's funny, and he's getting more talented. Did I think that any of his music before this was interesting? No. Did I think that Kansas Anymore was a particularly interesting project? No. Slut Era Interlude is amazing. Everything else, whatever. Sally When the Wine Runs Out was such a moment throughout the year. I think that translating it from just a TikTok sound into being an offline experience, having the Sallys come out at all the shows. Also, it's just a really fun, addictive, great pop solo performance. So thank you, Role Model, for being hot and funny and somewhat talented. We appreciate you. I also put in here, and this is me really throwing her a bone, okay? Sunset Boulevard by Selena Gomez. I actually really like that song. What kills me about that song is that it is produced so badly. The vocal production, the vocal mixing is so bad, but if it had just been mixed normally, it would be fine. Although we all can see that like something's happening to Selena Gomez's voice, and she does have lupus, so I don't want to like speak in a derogatory way about her ability to sing or the way that her voice is sounding kind of different than it has before. I want to like leave space and grace for the fact that I know that she is often unwell and etc. But there's something about it that is translating differently in the studio, and it's like a dynamics issue. It's like she's not really, it's the breath control and it's the volume projection. It's either that or just Benny Blanco and whoever is mixing her is not doing a good job. But the latest song that came out that is not produced by him also has a similar issue and conundrum with it. So I don't know, but this is me throwing Selena a bone because I actually do really like this song. Justin Bieber, Butterflies. Deeply moving song. Sad, sad. Justin Bieber is a broken man. He's kind of broken. And that was revealed on some of the higher points of swag. And this song moved me when I heard it. Speaking of songs that moved me, Addison Rae, High Fashion. No, this has grown on me. When I first heard it, I was like, whatever. Then I saw it live and I was like, okay, I get it. I really get it. And Addison said that this is the song that she would put on an album over and over again. This song, the production goes so crazy. It was a Record of the Year contender, but it didn't quite have the impact that I think a Record of the Year needed to have. Although I put Plastic Box in there. Maybe I could swap out High Fashion for Plastic Box here. I could put Plastic Box in Pop Solo Performance and Addison Rae High Fashion in Record of the Year. I'm considering it. Then I put Chapel Roan The Giver. I had to give her something. Oh, get it? No pun intended. I had to give her something. I wasn't going to put The Subway now, was I? I wasn't going to put that there. Not that interesting. But The Giver actually is fun. It's charismatic. It's kind of different. It's got a little country flair. Blue in her hair for the Teen Vogue party. I liked it. I liked it enough to give it a pop solo performance nod. Dance pop. Now, I don't even know if I'm qualified enough to realize what could be nominated here, but if it was my Grammys, again, here's what I would be putting there. Tate McRae, Sports Car. We talked about this. Lady Gaga, Garden of Eden. So much fun. This is a real highlight from the album. So slept on. I wish it was a single. So much fun. She seems to be obsessed with Vanish Into You, and I'm gonna let her rock with that, but Garden of Eden is like the second song of Mayhem. It's so good. Adela, Sex on the Beat. So much fun. I feel like it's had such a moment. This is the song that really helped her break into the stratosphere. And I think that people were really gagged by the music video and the choreo that she does on her tour. So congratulations. Now, the next two nominees, you're going to be surprised because I have given negative reviews to both of these artists this year and have been under attack from their respective fan bases who can't get their artists to chart but can flood my comment section. Zara Larsson, Midnight Sun, the song. It's grown on me. It's a good song. Is it good enough to be Song of the Year, Record of the Year? Well, no. Dance pop? Yes. Why not? Why the hell not? Yeah, I said it. Marina Tissimo. I love It is so fun. I can even forgive Do People Still Say YOLO? I can forgive that because the rest of it is so fun. And so Marina is like incapable of serving. So it was crazy that on this terrible, terrible album, she managed to serve this magnitude. And to acknowledge and celebrate her success in that regard, I am giving her a dance pop nomination at the Swiftologist Grammys. Best New Artist. Who do you think will make it in? Addison Rae. Addison Rae will win Best New Artist at the Grammys. I have planted the seed and I will see it harvest. Why is Addison Rae the Best New Artist? Again, she has a commitment and a devotion to her craft. People underestimate her. She is a lot smarter. She thinks a lot more deeply about what you perceive to be like girly pop than you could ever imagine. The references are so, if you know, you know. I feel like you have to be a true pop connoisseur to really understand Addison Rae's project. And to me, when people say that they don't get it or they think that it's like shallow or they don't understand the gravity of it, it really makes me think that you're just not well versed in pop music and in the intricacies of girly pop over the years. Unfortunately, sorry, if you don't think that Addison Rae is the best new artist, you're not smart, essentially is what I'm saying. Jade, oh my God, Jade, please. Jade has been absolutely smashing it. It looked a little dicey after Angel of My Dreams. There was a bit of a lull in momentum for the album. I imagine there were some label difficulties going on there, but she recovered that album campaign very quickly. And I think that she definitely got to reap the rewards of this year. And I think that she should be extremely proud of herself for managing to break through, especially as a girl breaking out of a girl group. She's also the last member of the girl group to have released a solo project. Obviously, Leanne still hasn't released her debut album, but to release a single or any song whatsoever, Jade took her time. And I think not rushing to capitalize on the momentum and really waiting to have something good and worth cooking on was clearly the move. Adela, my diva, I love you. You are the Slovak pop queen of my dreams. You are a twisted, busted Hannah Montana. I am obsessed with Adela, and I've sung her praises so much in this video already. I see such a bright future for her. I saw it at the end of 2024. Let that be known. I made a video and I said, Adela, one to watch. And she just kept proving me right. And I think that it has been so amazing to watch. It's really like a grassroots campaign to make Adela succeed. Like, she is not an industry plant by any stretch of the imagination. Like, the first songs that she released were completely self-funded. She did it all by herself. And make no mistake, like, she wouldn't be at Sex on the Beat without Machine Girl, without Superstar, without Home Wrecked. So put some respect on her name. Olivia Dean, a graceful queen, an elegant queen, a joyful queen. She is someone that seems like she was always famous. Like, when you see her, you're like, oh yes, she's the kind of person you see in public and you're like, she's famous. You may not know who she is, but you're like, she has this aura about her, this undeniable chemistry with the world that is very dazzling. Role model, yeah, I don't know if he counts. Again, the Grammys have a really confusing way that they assess who the best new artist is, hence Sabrina Carpenter being nominated last year. But Role Model definitely had a breakthrough year, and I think he deserves a moment. There's 8 nominees for this, by the way. Audrey Hobart. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Audrey Hobart, Future of Pop. Audrey Hobart, Weird Girl. Audrey Hobart, Alternative Indie Darling. Audrey Hobart, Diva of the Year. Flo, are they new? Is this their first? It is their first album. They've done a bunch of like EPs and singles before, but this is their first record. Flo, I mean, they are masters of their craft. Who is singing like them? Like, who's actually singing the way that they're singing? Who's doing harmony? Who's doing blend? Who's doing arrangement like that? No one. People don't like to sing. And the last person I threw in there, because I didn't know who else to put, and I didn't want to put a man, Lola Young. She wants to scream about wetting the sheets. I'm gonna let her. So thank you, Lola Young. Music video, this is my last category. I have Lady Gaga, Abracadabra. It was a moment. Don't argue with me, it was a moment. I don't think the song would have taken off as much as it did had we not had that iconic Lady Gaga music video. Addison Rae, Headphones On. She released a lot of great music videos this year. In fact, the promo for her entire album campaign was just focused on these incredible, well thought through, well executed, stylish visuals. And Headphones On is like the most unique one. Fame as a Gun is really great too. That one is so weird and off the wall, but Headphones On is like just a great music video. Audrey Hobart, Sue Me, another music video that I loved. That's a lot of budget to give a girl on her debut single, and they knew. They said it's going to be worth it because the song is that good and it deserves an investment. And it's literally just Audrey Hobart going sicko mode, like in the gym, at school, at work, in her room, in outfits. I love it. Doechii, Anxiety. This is a great music video. Anxiety is such an incredible blend of like internet culture and Doechii's like specific creative project. I love the visual callback to Gautier here. Such a moment. I feel like everybody stopped and watched this when it came out. And then I have C-Matt's Euro Country for all the reasons that I mentioned before. I think that it is such a beautiful, gorgeous intimate depiction of what it was like to be a teenager and adolescent growing up in Ireland at a very specific time in history. And I don't think that you need to be super familiar with that experience to feel an emotional pull from the visual. So congratulations, CMAT. You are the Irish chaperone. Okay, that took a lot longer than I thought it was going to. So I guess that we're just going to have to speed through the Billboard nominations. So for Album of the Year, Billboard says Bad Bunny. I'm not even going to try. Should I try and pronounce that? Debí tirar más fotos. Mi gente latina. 3 years ago, Un Verano Sin Ti became the first Spanish language album to receive an Album of the Year nod. His follow-up wasn't nominated in this category, but his latest may push him back on track and make him the only artist with 2 Spanish language albums nominated in the top category. To me, I'm kind of like, what is it going to take for the Grammys to award a non-English album? Is that ever going to happen? Because they are nominating, but they do this a lot. They do a lot of symbolic nominations without actually giving the people what they deserve. Beyonce is a great example of this. So I think I would like to see Bad Bunny win something. I could see him winning Album of the Year. He's a visionary. He's doing the Super Bowl. It'll be a great time. Up next, Justin Bieber's Swag. Okay. 4 out of his 6 previous studio albums were nominated for Best Pop Vocal Album. You see, the specific quote is, Grammy voters have long been believers. Is that so? How many Grammys does he have? Sabrina Carpenter, Man's Best Friend. Well, we knew that. Elton John and Brandy Carlisle, they love to throw a flop that no one listened to or cared about into Album of the Year. When there's a plethora of options, they have to do one whack entry, and this is their whack entry. Brandy Carlisle is just following the old people around. She's following around Joni Mitchell. She's following Elton John. Come up with something else. Come up with something else. Lady Gaga, Mayhem. We knew that. We knew that. It would be her 5th nomination in this category and her first for a contemporary pop album since Born This Way. I think it's long overdue for Gaga to win Album of the Year. Don't we all agree on that? Don't we all agree? And I think that most people would be pretty happy, Stan Wars I'm talking about, if Gaga won for Mayhem. Kendrick Lamar, GNX, that was kind of a shoe-in, wasn't it? He kind of won 2024 and 2025. The Weeknd, Hurry Up Tomorrow, and Tyler, the Creator, Chromacopia. I haven't listened to the Tyler, the Creator album. The Weeknd's Hurry Up Tomorrow, I don't know. I didn't think that it was that interesting to me, but he made his grand return to the Grammys last year. So perhaps like as a show of good faith, they're going to nominate it. I don't really think he deserves to win. Record of the Year. Interesting. 8 nominees and they have Gracie Abrams. That's so true. I've been saying it. Sabrina Carpenter, Man-Child. I've been saying it. Denial as a River. Well, yes. Billie Eilish, Wildflower. Lady Gaga, Abracadabra. Well, yes. Kendrick Lamar and SZA. Luther, okay. APT. I forgot about APT. I forgot about APT. It's really not my thing. It's not my favorite song to listen to, hence why it didn't make it to the Swiftologist Grammys, but I would understand if this won Record of the Year. She would be the first K-pop artist ever to receive a Big Four nod as a lead artist. I'm really in favor of that, and she probably has a good shot given that she's with Bruno Mars, noted Grammy darling. Alex Warren, Ordinary. I will never be free from this song. I've never listened to it in full, but every piece that I've heard of it has tormented me. Alex Warren is my sleep paralysis demon. No one will ever be able to convince me that this isn't anything other than American Idol music. Benson Boone, Teddy Swims, Alex Warren, they're all the same person making the same music. I'm not interested! I don't give a Stop shoving it down my face. Enough of Alex Warren and his kind. God. Okay, within reach, they say Miley Cyrus, End of the World. A big reach. Within a big reach. Tate McRae, Sports Car. Ed Sheeran, Azizam. I thought this was the Grammy Awards. I didn't think this was the Bad Song Flop Award. That's interesting. Tyla, Push to Start. Ooh, I forgot about Push to Start. That's making me rethink some of my categories. What I Want, The Weeknd, and Playboi Carti. Morgan Wallen featuring Tate McRae, What I Want. Okay, does Tate McRae want to get canceled? She keeps trying to get herself canceled with this song. That song is also just not good. It's not good. And Morgan Wallen sucks. We've been knowing this. Song of the Year, Denial as a River. Yes. The Giver. Okay. If you say so. Luther. Yes. Man-Child. Ordinary. Can we be serious? Can we be serious? Stately power ballads have been perennial favorites in this category, with the winners list including Paul Simon's Bridge Over Troubled Waters, Sam Smith's Stay With Me, and Adele's Hello in 2017. Okay, Hello is the last power ballad to win. I want you to really sit down, go like this to your eyes, and ask yourself, is Ordinary of the same caliber as Hello by Adele? Recording Academy, are you listening? Ask yourselves this question. Turn off American Idol and ask yourself this question. That's so true. Gracie Abrams, deserved. Truly deserved. When This Old World Is Done With Me, Brandy Carlisle, Elton John. Again, they have to do the flop song no one cares about. That's how All Too Well 10 lost. That's how All Too Well 10 lost. Wildflower. Best New Artist. Oh my gosh. Yay. Let's see who's here. Ella Langley. Don't know who that is. The Marias. Featured on I Said I Love You First. Correct? They were like the highlight. Ojos Tristes, right? They were like one of the best parts of it. Okay, I'm in support. Maria the Scientist. Don't know her. Don't know her. Miles Smith. Don't know him. Somber. Don't know him. Don't know him. Couldn't name a song. Will he win? We don't know, and we don't care. Zach Top. Who the f is Zach Top? Alex Warren, again, my sleep paralysis demon. Lola Young is the last person they have predicted, and then they have Addison Rae as Within Reach, Renee Rapp. Big reach. Big reach. I think Addison Rae deserves. Yeah, that's right. I'm saying it. She deserves. I'm saying let's do some Addison positivity in the chat. Let's put some butterflies for Addison in the chat of this video. Thank you so much. The chat being the comment section. I was going to go through the ancillary pop categories, but this video has been going on for a long time. I had no script, by the way. I've just been running my mouth. So I hope you liked this unscripted video. And next week, I will be seeing you with a scripted video. I am hoping if you guys are interested, let me know if you're interested. I love the Lily Allen album so much, West End Girl. And when I was writing my little TikTok script, it's only 9 minutes long. I had to cut so many things out that I wanted to cover. Would you guys be interested in how to revive your career, Lily Allen, West End Girl? It would be like, it would function as a West End Girl review, but also as like my thoughts on Lily Allen's entire catalog and her journey through the public eye. She's actually a very interesting character. And I feel like most people don't know her story, and she has a really interesting story as a celebrity beyond just her music. Like, she has a very interesting story to tell. So if you guys would be interested in that, let me know. And also soliciting other video topic ideas. We're finally getting out of the showgirl shadow, and it is time for me to train my gaze elsewhere. So let me know if there are any video ideas that you would love to see, any topics, even if it's not music related, if there's like an internet culture thing that you want some commentary on. And if you're Australian, stay tuned because there might be a Snares tour in your area soon. Okay, goodbye.